Hey, 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 good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're spotting this. Pajama Gramma, Horne-Ellstrom here, actually fresh out of the shower with my wet hair and my jammies. I want to invite you to introduce yourself. I want you to introduce yourself here today. Ideally, I'd love for you to shoot a Facebook Live video and put it here in the pin section. But if you would prefer to write it, go ahead and write it out. I just will tell you, people will get more excited and will get to know you better if you're willing to hop on your cell phone and just do a quick Facebook Live as response to this and share who you are. And what we want to know is, I want to know a couple of things. How long have you had chronic? Well, your name. Please share your name. I mean, it'll post your name, but it's more fun if you tell us what you like to be called. I like to be called Pajama Gramma, or I like to be called Sharon. My family calls me Sherry, but nobody really calls me that anymore, not since I was 18. And since I'm 58, it's been a long, long time. So Pajama Gramma works for me. I want to know how long you've been experiencing chronic pain. Tell us a little bit, a brief summary of your story and your experience. If you happen to have a diagnosis or a root cause or know when or what triggered your chronic pain, you could share that. And then share with us, where are you right now in your journey? Where exactly are you? And then where do you want to be? What do you expect to get out of this 30-day challenge, this 30-day painkillers challenge? What are your expectations? That's it. What's your experience so far? Where are you? Who are you? And what are you looking forward to? That's a pretty good summary. Now, do you want to hear mine? I will try to be brief because I've got a 37-plus year history with chronic pain. And you may or may not have heard my story. I do share it throughout the things that I talk about. But I was working in Valley, Nebraska for the summer with my sister and somehow ended up in the hospital. Went through years and years of testing, being bedridden, and thinking that I had no life because I had no life. All of my friends had gone back to college and were living their lives and creating their futures, and I was bedridden and going to doctors and specialists, and I was in massive pain throughout my body and my joints and migraines and you name it, I had it, and they were testing me for it. And after about 3 years of this, the doctors in several different specialties, all kind of within a 1 or 2 month period, told me they couldn't do anything more for me. They'd tried all the medications, they'd tried all the tests they had, and they didn't know what to do for me, and they couldn't help me, and so I was just going to have to live with it. And that was a huge turning point for me because I didn't want to live that way. I didn't want that to be my life. And I got to decide. I actually had to decide at my lowest of low points what I was going to do about it. And that's when everything began to change for me. Now, I've had a really interesting history with chronic pain since that time, but since I made that decision, so much has changed. And my life has turned out to be absolutely fantastic and amazing. I mean, I've done more things than I think I could have even imagined had I not had any chronic pain or illnesses in my life. And I'll share more about my ups and downs, up to and including a sudden cardiac arrest in 2010. But that's not important. That's a brief enough summary. So no, they don't know what the root cause of my chronic pain and chronic illness. The onset was, I was 21 years old working in Valley, Nebraska, and I got sick and ended up in the hospital. That's where it started. But again, no diagnosis. It's really interesting because back then they thought it was rheumatoid arthritis or something like that. And that's what I was diagnosed a little bit with, but they weren't sure because it didn't fit all of the things. And now I recently, last year, had a really big bout with inflammation. Remember, I've still had issues, and I couldn't walk, and I went to the rheumatologist, and he did the test and said, "You don't have rheumatoid arthritis." So I don't know. I still don't know what I've got. And you know what? I've decided that it doesn't matter. I'm going to choose how my life's going to be. I'm not going to let a diagnosis define me. So where I am in my 30-day journey and where I want to be and what I expect out of this 30 days, I expect to continually improve. I expect to actually have the things that I try and experience throughout this 30 days positively impact my life by reducing my chronic pain and helping me to create the life that I want. And what do I want most? I used to just want to be normal, but I will admit it. Now I want to change the world. There's 1.5 billion of us that have chronic pain and suffer from it. And I want to help at least 1 million of us not suffer anymore. So that's a little bit about me. Go ahead, share in the comments below. Introduce yourself, because I want to know who you are, what you've been through, what you want, and how I and this challenge can help you achieve that so you can kill your chronic pain and live the life that you deserve to. Go out, share your introduction, and I'm excited to get to know you. Bye. Pajama Gramma out.